All right, guys. So last week we got some news that an Inquisitor series is really early in development, and they're actually looking for Hayden Christensen to come back into the role of Darth Vader.
Which plays on what we talked about earlier of a Darth Vader series. I don't know if you guys watched it, but it was way back when, and we talked about a Darth Vader series in production, and it makes sense because he is one of the most iconic people in the Star Wars universe.
It's inevitable.
And it is inevitable. If they're working on an Inquisitors show, it's probably just going to be the Darth Vader.
Yeah, big reason why they want him too is because of I'm assuming a big reason why they want him is because of how happy they are with him being an Obi-Wan.
Exactly, and like I said, it just makes sense that it wouldn't be an Inquisitors show; it would be a Darth Vader series.
No, I think the next step up after Inquisitors would be a Vader series after this.
If he's going to be prominent in it, I feel like it's just going to be Vader. It's all going to be about Vader.
I think he's going to be there for training. Personally, because we do have a report of them casting someone for Barriss Offee for the Ahsoka series. So, you remember who she is? The chick from the Jedi Order who was a Padawan that betrayed.
Oh yeah, I remember that. And then she took Ventress's stuff,
sabers.
her sabers, and then Ahsoka was put on trial, and then Anakin was gonna murder her ass, literally.
Oh yeah,
She
Dave
was
Filoni
gone.
was had plans. He was yeah, originally I was gonna kill her, and then he was like, no, let's save that character.
Yeah, nah.
So
bro.
that's what
that would have been so dope if he freaking masked. You would have seen that Darth Vader in him come out earlier. You would have been like, Darth Vader, is that you? Freaking, he came for her neck.
Oh yeah, he was ready to just go
Came
for
her
it.
neck. So
But you might get to see Vader train her and make her an Inquisitor, and that she might be one of the lead
we
roles.
might see Cal's master's
Previous student.
Yeah.
I really
her.
hope they honestly do something tragic with Cal and make him an Inquisitor as well,
Why?
because that's gonna be so goddamn interesting.
No.
Because we already saw him get visions of him being an Inquisitor in the game.
That's if he had used the holocron the way it was supposed to be used. He was going to be
Or it
freaking
could have just
Jedi
been
master,
the future.
and then they all murdered. It could have, but they destroyed it, so no longer.
So we don't know.
Exactly.
We don't know if there's. I'm just hoping.
I think it was just the depression of him literally getting all of them captured and half of them killed that turned him into all right, I'm just angry at the world. I'm joining the Inquisitors. That's what it was. I don't think it's he genuinely wants to be one.
No one genuinely ever wants to be an Inquisitor. It just happens like that.
They just get tortured.
The only
until
people
they
who
submit.
did was the Grand Inquisitor, but that's because he was a Jedi Temple Guard, and they're super pragmatic about how they view the Force. So he was just like, oh, I don't have any problem being an Inquisitor. And then he was like, no, I guess I'm a light side again during Rebels, and they attacked Vader or whatever.
Yeah.
But speaking of which, he's got to be in this series too, which is going to be cool.
I mean, like I said, I just really want to see a Darth Vader series because there's so many things that Darth Vader does. It would be a rated R series. He literally...
There's no way it can be. Either it's rated R or on the very edge of PG.
Bro, he literally kills his subordinates like they're nothing.
Yeah.
The freaking general, we talked about this, the freaking clone commander for the palace guard or whatever, the royal guard or whatever it was. And then they accidentally started shooting at Vader after they were chasing after the lady that keeps all the records. And then he was like, why didn't you tell them, I was coming? And then fucking snaps his neck and kills him. I'm just bro, this dude is a savage, bro. He's angry as hell. And there's so many different things. In the comics, it's not canon, but he was supposed to be the one to kill Darth Maul.
Right.
And there's all these different things. So it's just I really want to see a Vader series. And if Inquisitors is first, there has to be a Vader series after.
Yeah. And
Is it going to be animated or is it going to be full live
I'm pretty
action?
sure it's live action. And if there's going to be an Inquisitor series, a Vader series, then there's going to be a project centered around Luke. There's got to be.
Exactly, because...
we fucking had a goddamn Han Solo movie before we had a thing about Luke, just Luke, so.
I think that they just weren't ready. Now...
Oh, yeah,
I've said this 3 million times. I tell everyone who gets into Star Wars, now is the perfect time to watch Star Wars because everything is getting set up in order. When I have kids, they're going to be able to watch Star Wars from start to finish and know exactly what's going on, whereas we grew up and we're like, what happens in the middle? What happens over here?
Bro, there's like
I don't
30
know.
years of just blank space.
Exactly. We're just kind of like, Star Wars is cool, but what happens in the middle? And then you can just read the comics and be like, all right, well, this may or may not happen in live action because it may or may not be canon.
Right.
But now they're literally filling in everything. We're going to get we're not going to get every little detail, but we're going to get so much content to fill in those gaps before and after, leading up to the garbage new trilogy that was created, that they could actually turn that new trilogy into like a masterpiece.
Oh, I
if they
mean,
set it up correctly.
yeah, I think that's what they're doing with Grogu and Omega. They're trying to put as much stuff to put context around that stuff, like about like Palpatine creating just Force-sensitive clones or beings. That's what I think.
Yeah, there's all these questions that are like, they seem minor, like, oh, how did the Dark Troopers get started? Like,
But it's actually really important.
yeah,
Like,
what happened
the fuck
before
is
is important.
Exegol? Like, how does
Exactly.
that, like, how do you get there? And it's just like, oh no, there's actually like, that's an important question that we should know.
Exactly.
can't just
There's just so many
haphazardly
like
intro-
questions in the newer movies, whereas the older movies, they make sense because it's like, hey, you left this gap, just tell me. Whereas like the new movies are just like, wait, what?
It's just garbage.
Where'd you get all these destroyed? Where's Exegol? How did they find what? How did they do this? How did they do that? How did they just freaking move all these people over there? How did they? It's just like it doesn't make sense. So, but comment down below how you guys feel about an Inquisitor series and possibly a Darth Vader series. See you next time.